What can it be? It's something from the future. Its design is revolutionary. There's full control DSP, inputs and outputs, RDNet on board. It is the HDM45 from RCF.
Hey YouTube, it is Trinity Productions, trinityprosound.com, coming after you after a long video hiatus. Sometimes just things get in the way and we're not able to post videos like we'd like to. But today this video is bringing you a special treat. We are bringing you the RCF HDM45A. This speaker in the HD line, which they've got the HD10, HD12, HD32, and now the HDM45 with built-in RDNet, and 2200 watts, so 1100 watts RMS, 15-inch two-way. But let's get into some of the specs on this thing first, and then we will get into the speaker and open it up. Frequency response specified from 45 and up to 20. Max SPL is 133 dB. The coverage of this is a 90-degree horizontal this way and 60 degrees in the vertical. Crossover point. This is what's stinking amazing that makes this thing sound so good. 650 hertz is where this thing is crossed at with the massive high frequency driver on this. It does have a 15-inch Neo woofer in it, 3.5-inch voice coil, and then it's got a 1.5-inch exit Neo with a 4-inch voice coil. So it is a monster driver, which you are going to get to see here shortly. 2200 watts peak, so 1100 watts RMS. Low section, they've got 1600 watts going to that, so that's 800, and then they've got 300 going to the high frequency section. So it's got the XLRs in and out, it's got the powerful DSP, which we'll get into, power cons in and out, 8 selectable presets for tonality adjustments, weighs in at 22 kilos, which I don't know what that translates to in US pounds, but I've been able to certainly lift the thing, and it's not that heavy with the Neo drivers in it, so quite impressive. And it is an injection molded box, but it does have fur phase in the DSP on the thing. The amplifier looks like all the new stuff they're starting to use on a lot of the new speakers now with the built-in DSP, RDNet. Almost looks like an amplifier on the TT stuff, but I don't think they've probably put the quality of the TT amp in this for the price point that it's at. But nonetheless, this thing sounds amazing. So we are going to get into it. Warranty on these guys in the US is 1 year, and you register it, you get 2 additional years, so you get 3 years out of it for warranty from RCF. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get into the speaker, go into some of the features, open it up, take a look at what's going on inside the speaker, how it's constructed, what they've done with dampening material and things like that, because it is a injection molded box. And then we'll get into at the very end and run a little audio through it and put the smart on it just to kind of see if the frequency response and how it lines up with what they're saying and seeing how flat it is. But with other speakers in similar configurations with the Art series and the NX series, this is probably going to be true to the specifications. And probably similar in sound. This has a little bit bigger volume to it than the Art 745 does, and I do like the look of this speaker better than the Art series. I just like the whole full grill thing on everything to cover up the high frequency driver, my personal opinion. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so we are out of the box, up on the table, and I'll find out and put in the specs of what the weight of this thing is, but I'm guessing maybe 35, 37 pounds, kind of if that. But as you can see, top to bottom on this thing, full grill. You can kind of see inside a little bit of what they've done with the horn and the 15-inch driver. We've got some porting that you can see through the grill on each side and down at the bottom here as well to help with the low frequency tonality of the box. Carrying handles, both sides, left and right, as well as carrying handle on the top. Pole socket on the bottom with little rubber feet in case you want to put it up on a stage or something so it doesn't scoot around. Banging on the sides of the cabinet, you can tell that it is got some dampening in it. So we'll go ahead and be taking a look at that, but it doesn't ring or echo like some of the other speakers that are injection molded plastic that we've seen from some of the economy line speakers. Flipping the thing around here, looking at the back. So on the rear, and I'm going to come around the front of the table here. So we've got the DSP, and that's got the 8 presets on it, a little rotary encoder here. And then we do have, for the RDNet to bypass and do local setup through the DSP, there is some settings here that shows you what some of the presets are going to look like. And then you've got your in and outs for your XLR, amplifier, no fans, which is just wonderful because you don't ever have to worry about anything dying on the fans and the amplifier overheating. It's all convection cooled. Chart down here tells you what all the presets are. L1 to L4, C1, C2, F1, F2, and then we've got power cons in and out on these things. And I am guessing there is an internal fuse on it because I'm not seeing it on the back. But standard footprint for the RCF amplifiers on this. This is all aluminum, so it dissipates the heat quite nicely. As far as the presets go on this, what they have done is they've got a just totally linear. They have a high pass. They have a minus 3D boost, or no, a 3D boost, 3 dB boost, a minus 3 dB shelf. They've got close listening linear, close listening high pass, far listening linear, and far listening high pass. So it plays with a tonality of the low frequencies, high frequencies to be able to give you a cut or boost, to be able to help so that you don't have to worry too much about different settings and getting the speaker to do what you want to do. They've already done that for you. So that is a nice feature. The RDNet, for those of you that are not familiar with RDNet, it is a serial network that goes off. I can't demonstrate it on this one. We don't have our controller box with us here. But there is software that is free that you can download from RCF. The RDNet software, it only runs on a Windows machine. But once you hook into the RDNet 2 or RDNet 8, you can then network into these jacks in and out of them and be able to see and adjust parametric EQs, volume levels, delays, and also monitor the speaker and the amplifier with the RDNet software to see that everything is functioning. So for a deployment where maybe these are used as side fills and you've got other speakers off to the left and the right that are all RDNet capable and connected as well, you can monitor this system remotely from side of stage or even front of house, but you'd have to run a Cat5 cable that carries all the signal out to that as well. They do make converters. The RDNet boxes do have, I believe, XLRs. It is a fairly slow, not high bandwidth requirement app and signal that it sends out. I believe it's something around like RS485. It'll go long distances, and we've used it on our line arrays and TTL6s, TTL11s, and subs and things. And it's pretty remarkable what you can do on the laptop with the remote software, and especially monitoring things and looking at what the drivers are doing and seeing if you've got any high-end clipping possibly going on in different stages and having to make frequency adjustments and things for that. But it will show you all of that on the RDNet software. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get this HDM45A opened up and take a look at the inside, take a look at the drivers, show you what this massive 4-inch driver looks like on this box from RCF. Okay, so we are here with our handy dandy DeWalt driver, screw gun driver. These are just regular, kind of look like wood screws with a special thread on them to go into the plastic, but just held on by 4 screws. Grill assembly. There isn't any backing or foam or anything around this one in this HD line, but nonetheless does a pretty good job in covering the speaker so you can't see it. So anyway, here we go. So this is the 90 by 60 horn, so you can see how wide the dispersion on this thing is. And then we've got the 60 degree, but you can see kind of what this does is that there's a gradual flare up here and then a slope down flare to be able to cover, if the speaker is up on a stick, to be able to cover down front. And so that's how they're getting their 60. So that's a little bit up and then down as far as the coverage pattern is concerned. So it keeps the energy in this thing focused more directly in front of it with just the slight uprise of this high frequency driver. It gets the audio out of the high frequency driver really kind of where it needs to be onto your audience rather than, you know, kind of pointing to the sky. So we're going to go ahead and get this speaker out. My guess is we're going to end up having to pull this whole assembly out to be able to get the high frequency driver out. But standard, you know, paper cone speaker. Don't know, we'll open it up and see if we've got a stamped or cast basket driver on this thing from RCF. But you can see the porting holes here on the thing for low frequency tuning of the box. So we'll go ahead and get this low frequency driver out and take a look at that. Damn, Sam. All right, we'll get this thing spun around here and we'll come up here and kind of go over what the driver is on this thing. It is a stamped frame with a neo magnet on it. Standard, you know, like we said, paper cone driver. Made in Italy, so it is a true RCF driver, and they've got it. It is a 4 ohm driver, so they're able to coax a little bit more power out of the amplifier, being that it is 4 ohms on this. So, standard looking driver, nothing super special about it. We've got some venting holes around the magnet to be able to help with cooling of the driver itself. On the inside, spade lug type terminal connections. They were very secure in trying to get to pull off. Dampening material, and then we've also got this wood brace on the inside to help with the flexing of the cabinet. So they've done a good job in helping maintain the integrity of the cabinet and keeping everything solid on the inside of it. With the dampening material, that's when we were pushing, pounding on the side of the cabinet, and you can hear with that it does help soak up some of the resonance on the inside. We've got a lot of screws on the outside here, ring of this thing. We do have a gasket that this little rubber gasket. We'll pull that off because we'll have to put that back in. But that's for the grill, so that the grill does not resonate and rattle against the plastic, and we'll shove that back in once we get things opened up here. But you can see the 1.5-inch exit on the high frequency driver. There's a little bit of screening over that to keep bugs and crap out of it. But you can see the amplifier assembly in there. What you can see, and we'll pull this out, there is no fans on it, as we said earlier. That's one of the things that I really like with RCF, in that these amplifiers, this series of amplifier, they've been able to do that and keep the power up and everything and not utilize fans that are going to burn out, and then you're going to burn your amplifier up. So one of the things, and I've said this in other videos, we've had these speakers, NX series, TT series, HD. We are in Northern California in the Central Valley, so it gets hot here in the summertime. And we've done events where these speakers, similar speakers, same kind of amplifier, has been out in the sun baking against a hot stage, and we have not had a failure. It had not even had them shut down. So it says a lot about the amplifier and the components they're using on this thing, of kind of the punishment that they can take, just kind of as an FYI. So we're going to go ahead and get this pulled out, kind of figure out what kind of screws they've got going down inside here, get this whole front assembly pulled off, see what the high frequency driver looks like. And as soon as we remove the last screw, the whole assembly is loose. And it just, oh, surprising, it just takes the whole front of the speaker off. So let's get this out of the way, and as we open this up, we'll go sideways here so you can kind of see what we're opening up and pulling off. So the blue is positive, and the black is negative. There be the beastie driver on this thing, and it is bolted on. It does have a stiffening bracket. So there is the driver. You can see this thing is just massive. 4-inch driver. Let's see if they show a impedance on it. I don't see anything listed on it as far as what impedance it's running at. But they do have a metal bracket to be able to support the driver, because even though it's Neo, it does have a little bit of weight to it and be too much for the plastic, especially if it dropped the speaker. So they've got that on there holding it in place, but you can see this whole front assembly got the porting holes in it, and just comes off as a complete package. One of the things that with this, which is kind of nice, that if anything would ever happen, these drivers, amplifier and things like that, can be removed fairly easily and sent back in for service. So you do a little bit of troubleshooting, and we get a hold of RCF, and instead of having to send the entire speaker in, we've been able to, for us, send in just either components or have customers work with the repair department and send in individual components rather than having to shoot the whole speaker back. Speeds things up just tremendously, and not having to incur shipping them back and incurring the freight charges on that, especially cross-country back to New Jersey. So we can see the stiffening board in here. They've got that mounted and attached. We've got the dampening material that they've just done kind of up and over, and then the amplifier with the DSP on it. Now this cabinet, weight-wise, under 10 pounds with everything out of it. Let's see what, well, we haven't pulled the driver off of that, but my guess is that the whole cabinet weight with the amplifier in it is going to be somewhere probably 12 to 15 pounds in total weight as far as the plastic is concerned. Done a nice job with the construction of it. Being injection molded, quite a bit of attention to detail and stiffening. As you can see, all of this that they injected in here just helps with stiffening the overall enclosure. That even though it's plastic, really is, we press on the sides on this thing, and it's, quite robust, as it is with all the speakers in the HD line. So now we're going to go ahead and get the amplifier pulled out of this thing. Let's just take a quick look at that. Similar to what a lot of the other amplifiers are in the Art series, HD series, NX series speakers. Not anything super new other than the built-in DSP. DSP on it and the onboard RDNet, but all of that is kind of hidden behind the magic that goes on with the. These again are all different kinds of screws. So in pulling the amplifier, you know what screws go into the amp, and pretty much universal. We use the same tool, Allen type tool, hex head here, whatever it is, to be able to pull all these screws out of the amplifiers from RCF. So those are all out. I just pulled the DSP knob off. But, geez, a couple of pounds, maybe. So let Mr. Autofocus do its thing. So that's the DSP section right here. So that is your rotary encoder, XLR in, XLR out, display screen for presets. This is RDNet in and out, and then you've got the bypass for the RDNet on there as well. All aluminum. We flip this thing around here, and you can see we've got the incoming power supply section, and coming into the amplifier, and it works all of its magic all the way up into the DSP with the ribbon cable. On this, you can see that this thing is just one big heat sink. Semiconductors for the amplifier underneath here in that gap and affixed to the aluminum itself for heat dissipation. So if you ever want to take one of these things off and see, you'll be able to see all of that underneath there. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. All the magic happens up top up here in the DSP on this particular speaker. And I think what we'll do now is go ahead and get it back together, run a little music through it, and I'll put some smart on it and just do a trace on it and see what it looks like. But we are, as a production company, we are avid users of RCF product. Monitors, we run, I think we've got 14 of the NX series monitors that I may have mentioned in other videos, 12-inch and 15-inch. We run the TT subs. We had a rig where we had 8 TTS36 subs. Ended up moving that rig on with the 16 TTL33 tops that went with it. And it was an amazing sounding rig. Our business model changed a little bit, and we weren't doing anything up to, 6,000 to 7,000 people that rig would cover. Changed things up a little bit. So right now we are using a TTL6, which is the 12-inch 2A column speakers. We can do with those flown up to about 2,500, 3,000 people. RDNet, all that fun stuff running through it, but absolutely amazing sounding speakers. We'll go ahead and get the high frequency section hooked back up again, going blue to plus, push those things on really good, black to minus. There we have the front back on and high frequency drivers hooked up. We'll go ahead and get the low frequency driver back in. Very easy to take apart and put back together. Red goes to plus, black to minus. We'll just push those on so they're nice and tight so there's no chance of them coming off. And then we'll just go ahead and get this in and get screw holes aligned and go ahead and at least get one in line here. So if you ever do have to take one of these apart, at least this video will help you and assist you in doing so. We have done some videos of taking apart, especially with some of the line arrays, of how they configure the drivers and the mounting plates and things on those. That has helped people over the years be able to service them and get their drivers out. Laid in here, a little gasket. Just down so that they're snug. Because we don't want to strip out the plastic. And as we snug them down, you can see the grill going up against the gasket. And we are good, back together. And get this little guy powered up. There is no on and off switch on this thing, so the minute you apply power, boom, you are up and running. So we've got a green light here. So the DSP on this thing, let's see if we can get one of these kind of zoomed in here. Kind of see what we're talking about. So the DSP on this thing, right now, this is signal input, so you're all the way open coming out of the box, 0, and this is then taking away and turning down the sensitivity of the input for the amplifier and DSP stage. You hit it again, you go into delay, so you've got built-in delay on it as well. Hit it again, and now you've got the yellow light going on, which is going to be your preset. So it starts out with L1, and you just toggle through L1, L4, C1, C2, F1, F2, back up again. Once you decide your preset, boom, enter, and it pops back up to looking for signal again. The display goes off. So, and then this is the bypass. So when you're in RDNet, this will end up showing these two little bars to tell you that RDNet is controlling the speaker rather than local control. And then all the RDNet information will pop up on the RDNet software. So that's pretty much it. Very easy to do the setups on it. I just recommend that you go through and take a listen to all the different presets. Low volume, high volume, and kind of see what suits your ears the best, because what sounds good to me may not sound quite as good to you. So we're going to go ahead, get this thing fired up, get the measurement mic on it, just take a look at some smart trace with it, just kind of see what the overall frequency response is with the noise generator. So here we go. Okay, so we got the mic set up, RTA over here. Sorry about the glare, but I think once I move over in front of this thing, it'll go away. And got things set up. We'll end up just running some noise through it at first, and then we'll go in and play with the presets and see what they do with the trace as far as what we're getting through the measurement microphone that is out in front of the speaker. So we'll go ahead and energize the speaker. And so we're getting a, get out of the way here. So we're getting a good solid trace all the way across. We are seeing pretty flat up through this area here. Little bit of gain into the around 250. We are on the 1 setting. So now we've changed that to L2. L1 is just linear all the way through. And you could hear the low frequency on it a little bit better. Sorry about all the glare from the lights. Maybe that'll help a little bit there. Prop this thing up a little bit. So now we're on L2. That is linear with a high pass, so it took the low out of it. We're going to go into, I'm sorry, let's start L1. So there's L1, totally linear. So you can hear the low end come back in. We're going to go into L2. A little bit of change. L3 is linear with a 3 dB boost. And that is at the low end. L4 is a 3 dB shelf, so you could just hear the low end come off. You could also see that happen here in the trace. C1 is close listening linear. So you can hear the low end come back in and see that as well. C2, high pass, 3 dB shelf, close listening, so it pulled off some of the low end. F1, far listening linear, ended up boosting up some of the high frequency. And F2, far listening, high pass, so it rolled off some of the low end. Go back to L1, and now we're linear full. So around front here, you can really tell the microphone that I'm wearing, unfortunately, of what the frequency response on this thing really is kind of doing. But the presets are true to what they say they are doing, and making the adjustments as they need to. Hopefully, you could see that on the traces with the spectrograph in Smart Tools. I'd play a little bit of music through it here, and let me see if we can get that hooked up. Unfortunately, the music is going to be something that somebody is not going to freak out and copyright over. So I think what we can do is find something that is similar. This thing really does sound good. Ended up cranking it up and playing music through the thing. This with a subwoofer, probably the 8004, 8003 sub from RCF to couple with this thing is going to be absolutely amazing. We sold a lot of the HD32 boxes, and everybody that has purchased those has just been amazed by the audio quality and output, and that's just a two-way with a 12 with the larger driver on it. This being huge driver on the high frequency, low crossover point in the 15-inch driver, and the power behind this thing of the 1100 watts RMS. I can only imagine that, with a couple of these, you could end up doing, a nice little outdoor festival with 2 of these per side and subs to accompany that. So this is an older re-recorded song, but low-end response is just amazing. And with that 4-inch driver, you're just hearing things in the music that smaller drivers, sorry, you just don't normally hear.
I keep on dancing.
I mean, vocals are just in your face.
Dancing and shake it, shake it, baby. Dance on the trumpets at work. The sound of your footsteps telling me that you're near.
I mean, the vocals, even this, this was done in 2007, this re-recorded album. It sounds amazing.
When I'm telling the world that I love you in my midnight confession, when I say all the things that I want to, I love you. But a little gold ring you wear on your hand makes me understand. You thought you found the answer on that magic carpet ride last night, but when you wake up in the morning, the world still gets you uptight. Well, there's nothing better.
So that is the RCF HDM45. So if you're interested in a pair of these things, give us a call, 209-832-8023. These things are just stinking amazing. So I hope that this video has given you a little bit of insight into this and into the HD line as well. We've got another video that'll be coming up. We're going to be doing a TT45 monitor, dual 10s with a high frequency driver in the thing. And we've got that here in the inventory we're going to be doing a video on. This speaker is just highly recommended. Anything with the upgraded power amplifier, the high frequency driver, where they've got the lower crossover point, you are going to be absolutely amazed. There's not a whole lot of other manufacturers, competing lines out there that even come close to what RCF is doing with. There's a lower crossover point to give you that smooth transition, whether it's DJ or live sound, music playback. These things are freaking awesome. The NX line follows this same thread with the NXL24, the NX45, the NX32, I believe, and then the Art series, HD series. Anything with that larger driver and the lower crossover point on that, just such a smooth sounding speaker. And with the power behind this, most of the other HD line is all 700 watts RMS, which is a lot of power. But this thing kicking out the 1100 watts, just stinking amazing. So there you have it. If you have any questions, send us a message here on YouTube. You can also, we've redone our website, so take a peek at that, www.trinityprosound.com. Reach out to us on the phone, 209-832-8023. And again, thank you for watching another one of our Take It Apart videos. Trinity Productions, trinityprosound.com.